I'm gonna plug this in here. But it is true though. You spend so much money, man.
You do, and at the end of the week, you're like,
What the hell happened?
you're like, I spent $80 on cheeseburgers.
It's so true. It's the life of, like you said, being in the trades.
Yup.
All right, so we're getting started here, people. Mike, I want to thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, here, let's cheers. Let's do a little cheers on this one. There you go, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. So this is your first podcast you've been on.
First podcast.
Which is glad to be the one to, like you said, pop your cherry on that one. So
might be the first plumber on a podcast.
Hell yeah. Like I said, we want to do new things here. But for the listeners out there and everyone viewing, today we got a great episode about to come your way. We have Mike Panetta here today with us, and Mike runs his own plumbing HVAC company. And I'm not going to talk any more about it because Mike knows a lot more about it than I do. So, Mike, tell us, how you got started.
So,
and what the company's called and everything.
So when I was I started doing plumbing when I was 21. When I first turned 21, my grandfather was a plumber, started his own company. My uncle and my father worked for him when they were young. And eventually my father branched off on his own. And to separate himself from, my grandfather and my uncle, because they still had their own company.
Yeah.
They do, they specialize in drain cleaning, and service plumbing, roughing in houses and all that kind of stuff. So to separate himself, my dad went and did, the heating and air.
Gotcha.
Which kind of go hand in hand, with plumbing. So, you got your boilers, which is heating, that's mostly plumbing, and then the regular air conditioning. So when I turned 21, I was actually living in Florida, just goofing around, delivering pizza, and I looked at myself one day, I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to go home, work for my dad. Plumbing's pretty much in my blood.
Yeah.
A third generation plumber. My cousin does it now. And
before I don't want to, I want to cut you off real quick. When did you actually start with your dad?
So I started when I was 21.
Okay.
21. So I'm 26 now. So it was about 5 years ago I started full time. Went right into the fire.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yep.
Now, like when you were growing up, like you said, you started at 21. Did you ever, like when you were younger, did he ever expose you to it when you were younger? Or?
Yeah, I would go on calls with him when I was younger, like, just to go hang out. I never really did much, but I would just go and be with the guys, go in the house, watch him do what he did. And, to me, when I was younger, my dad was the best plumber out there. To me, I didn't know no better, and he still is the best plumber I know.
Yeah.
So I dabbled into a little bit when I was younger. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I didn't know I wanted to be a plumber.
Yeah.
Until I was like, I think it's my calling.
Well, when you're younger too, you're hanging out with all the kids and everyone's outside playing.
No one wants to play with, toilet waste
and
all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, for sure. But that's amazing. Now, does your dad work with you now?
He when I first started, he was really involved, teaching me, showing me how to do stuff the right way. And now that I have that knowledge and I've completed school and all that kind of stuff, now I'm kind of on my own.
Yeah.
And he's still involved, not to say that he's retired or anything, but he still handles like, the book work, all that after stuff that you do at home, like bidding on job, really going to look at stuff and setting stuff up. And I do more of like the labor stuff.
Okay.
Contacting customers, talking to them, texting them at nighttime and all that kind of stuff. And he handles the bills and all the paperwork.
Really nice. Now, would you ever see yourself taking over that as well?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, before we even get to more into that, let everybody know what your company's called and how that originated, with the name and so on.
So we're called M Panetta Mechanical. So that separates us from my uncle, which is A Panetta Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Okay. But
we do stuff together. Like if he needs a hand, we'll go and help him here. If we need a hand, he'll come and help us.
Okay.
So we're called
Nah, that's all right.
We can cut this, right?
Yeah, we can do whatever you want. Look, honestly, it's better even not to cut it. You know why? Because it shows that this isn't scripted.
Yeah.
But yeah, just whatever. What's the name of the?
So
of the
we're called
company?
Panetta Mechanical
Okay.
because we do not just plumbing, we do heating and air conditioning as well.
Yeah.
Plumbing, heating, and air go hand in hand, like I said before.
Yeah, for sure.
Heating and air is a lot more technical than plumbing is. A lot more tedious.
I was gonna say I think there's a little bit more.
It's a lot more involved.
Right, a lot more technology involved.
A
right?
lot more. And we do a little bit of heating and air. I'd say if plumbing was 80% of our business,
yeah,
the heating and air is the other 20%. So we don't really get too heavy into it. Not to say that we can't do bigger jobs, but we definitely do, like running duct work and putting units in and all that. But plumbing is like our main thing.
That's the main gist for you.
Yeah, that's the main gist of it, because heating and air is a whole nother school.
Yeah.
You got to go to like another 4 years for that. So I plan on doing that, after I get my plumbing license.
Okay.
Maybe I can go back and get the heating and air license, because it is a lot, but it does separate us from other companies.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you can offer more services, it's always going to help differentiate you, right?
Definitely.
Allows you to get into more of a, essentially, you're going to be in one single market of plumbing. When you can move yourself into another market,
exactly.
Right? It just opens up more avenues for you to expand the company. Just like I said, to offer more options to your customers.
Exactly.
So that's smart. It's
more like a one-stop shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It's smart to do. And as you said, they're in the same avenues, so you're not really spreading yourself across too much.
Yep.
As you may see within a general contractor state, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it still allows you to keep a nice solid hone on the service offerings, and that's gonna help you too when you come to hire employees, right? Because you want to make sure when you hire employees, you're not trying to throw too much on them at once, or you have to diversify your employee. Your whole entire selection, right? So you don't want to have it where you're like, hey, I want you to do plumbing, heating, air installs for this, and you want to be able to be like, all right, we could train you specifically for this. So
to do heating, I could hire a heating and air technician.
Yep.
Have him just do that, and then I could have, if I wanted to hire a plumber to do service work, or hey, I'm gonna hire this guy so he could do just the rough-ins for new houses, new buildings.
Exactly.
So you're not giving this one guy 4 different things he's got to learn how to do.
Yeah,
you're staying them on one task to learn.
Well, it overwhelms a lot of employees, right?
It does.
It's hard to find employees that's willing to do that or has experience for that. So what it's going to allow you to do, it makes it easier for you to train your employees, prepare them for the task at hand that you're going to have as a service offering, right? And yeah, so when you don't expect the employee to try to do everything, then you're just being able to make more competent employees that really know that skill or that trade that much better than if they had to be spread apart.
It's all about efficiency.
Exactly.
Yep.
But now I think it's a good model. It's exciting to know that you're looking to venture into that as well.
Yep.
Now, so as you said, you're going for your plumber's licensing, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm assuming so you work underneath your father's at this.
I work underneath of my father's plumbing and heating and air license.
Okay.
So he's licensed in both.
That's awesome.
And I work underneath of that. So the schooling for me for plumbing was 4 years of plumbing, and then after you do that, 4 years, which I just got done in April, cut short because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
So I finished that, and then you have to wait a whole nother year, still working, and then you apply to take the test to get your license.
Man.
So they make you do 5 years altogether, and then I think the process is even like another half a year just to apply. Then you got to take like a refresher course, because after a year of not going to school, you're not going to remember all that stuff, because it's a lot. I think the first year they teach you like, this is what a screwdriver looks like, basic stuff. The history of plumbing, like what the first plumbing system looked like back in like when the mines were doing it.
That's pretty neat though.
It is neat.
That's cool that they do that. They
it is
take
neat.
you through the history of it, because I think it's important to know. Like, a lot of times, what that would do for you is, which is neat, when you know history of anything, you might be able to innovate from what was done back then, where you might have seen that die out, right? Or it's just not being emphasized as much
Or
now.
hey, yeah, I could bring this back.
Exactly. Right?
Even in Philadelphia, you see that's some of the oldest plumbing that they got in the country.
Yeah.
Where they have water mains in the street that are actually made of wood.
That's unbelievable.
Underneath of the street, where Ben Franklin probably put that there.
That's unbelievable. That's crazy.
And it still lasts today. Still.
And that just shows you how engineering, some things are just, it was fine-tuned back then, and there's no reason. If it's not broken, why fix it?
And the craftsmanship back then, those guys really took pride in their work. I mean,
for sure.
Look at some of them water lines lasted 100 plus years. You know what I'm saying?
It's unbelievable.
You can't find nothing to last 100 plus years nowadays.
Seriously. I mean, obviously, you got your higher technologies and products but even then, it's just like, back then, like you said, it was made to last.
Yeah.
And obviously, as we install our products and our services, we're always looking to do that. But some things that you do buy from other manufacturers, and they're just not as high as quality.
Look at a laptop. Buy a laptop.
Yeah.
And then 6 years from now, you got to buy a new one because they crash.
Yep.
An iPhone.
It's true.
You buy an iPhone, 2 years from now, it starts slowing up. You got to buy a new one.
Exactly. Unfortunately, some companies just make their money that way. They make where their products get outdated. Technology, you see it more.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, there is a ton of products out there today that are, they definitely are more efficient to put together.
Yeah.
Right. They still do last a decent while.
Yeah.
Versus, I mean, are they gonna last as long as they might have back then? It's who's putting it together, right?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Who's really putting that pride into their work, as you said. And I think you see more of a lack of it today.
For sure.
I mean, obviously, this is why I'm doing this. I want to bring on companies like you and people that really do enjoy what they love, and really put it all into making sure that they're providing a great service, right, for the customers, and they're trying to give the best options possible. So, and I think it's important to highlight this because it's hard, and it's just hard to come across good companies in general.
It is,
because everything can be so, it's like flooded.
It is.
When you look at, like, all right, does this guy have his licensing, or is this guy insured? Are they even doing the right procedures and processes?
And that's why they did the schooling how it is now, because back in the day, it was if you were just working, like you could have worked in a supply house stocking pipe, and if you worked there for 5 years doing that, you can go get your plumbing license. So they were just having, anybody and everybody could be a plumber back in the day, and then they had all these failed businesses, and they were like, well, we can't have this. We should probably make it a little bit harder for people to get their license.
Yeah, and it should have been done like that a little while back, even before, because it's important. You're talking about structural. Yeah.
I mean, plumbing's really nothing to mess around with, man. Yeah. Water sometimes is more damaging than fire.
Easily. You can get your whole house entirely ruined. Yeah. Because mold. You had a third floor leak, right?
Absolutely.
So it's for sure. All that stuff needs to be, and even electric. Anything that's within a roughing of a house, right? It's in the structural.
It's nothing you want to mess around with.
Yeah, you got to know what you're doing. You should be certified. You should have some knowledge. And obviously you need to have those insurances for you too, as well. You
have to have your back in case something, because things do happen. There's things that I do, and you never know what could happen. You think you're doing the right thing, and you're like, you go home and you're like, okay, yeah, I did a great job today. I'm really happy with what happened. And then 2 days later on a Friday night, you're getting the customer call you back. Hey, I got a flood in my basement, or hey, something's leaking, and plumbing don't just happen. Plumbing emergencies don't just happen on regular Monday through Friday. It happens when you're having a party with when you're with your friends, hanging out, all this and that, and then your heart goes into your stomach, and you're like, oh my God, what did I do? That's the worst thing, and that's what, when I come out to a job, I don't want that headache and that callback later. So I'm going to spend that extra time while I'm there, triple check everything, make sure that last nut was tightened and all that. So, I'm here to put a permanent solution to your problem, man. Okay. I'm not trying to come back out even a year later and fix it. I don't ever want to come back and fix what I did. Yeah. Unless it's like a water heater, I put it in 20 years ago. Yeah, it needs to come out.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I mean, it's the way to be. It's the right mindset to have, and obviously that's why you're doing well in business. Yeah. And Yeah, it's like I said, it's just how you should operate.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Panetta name's been around for 70 years.
That's what's amazing. So let's go back to it. So you said your grandfather actually started the company.
My grandfather started the company, so
When did he start it? You know?
I don't know the exact year. I know a little bit of background. I know that I think he dropped out of school in like the 5th grade
Wow.
and started working for a plumber. You know, just like handing tools, this and that. And he
Yeah.
learned and learned. He seen that you can make money doing it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll go out on my own and do it. So he started doing it. And then, you know, when my father and my uncle were probably about in high school, they started doing it. You can see the money that they make in doing it. And it just kept going.
Just kept going.
I mean,
Became a thing.
yeah, dude, the Panettas have been around forever. You can go anywhere and ask if someone knows a Panetta. I bet you somebody will say, yeah, I know them.
That's amazing, man. It's funny because like before you came on, obviously, you know, I was doing a little research on the company, and like you said, I was seeing like Panetta Plumbing here, Panetta, you know,
Yeah.
AC, you know, HVAC, and I'm like, man, I'm like, do they have a couple branches? Like what? So it's just funny that you said that, you know,
Yeah.
like so your uncle, you know, has his one,
Yeah.
you know.
So we're pretty old school. I mean, we still advertise like word of mouth.
Okay.
You know, hopefully, you know, customers have good things to say about us. They say, you know, they know this person who needs a plumber. Hey, I got a guy.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they have a neighbor. Hey, I know this guy. He did a really great job. And I do some advertising on like Facebook. You know, I'll post some jobs and I'll run some ads on there, like, you know, down the shore. Because, you know, my father, he lives down the shore now. So I'll try to advertise down there because there's not a whole lot of people down there that work.
For sure. Yeah, it's I tell you what, that's market down there is phenomenal for any trades.
It is.
Any tradesman, you know,
Because
company. Because
and now's the time that they do it in the wintertime when no one's down there.
no one's there. Yep.
Yep.
This is where you see a lot of work being done.
Mhm.
Because, you know, obviously when they're in their peak season,
They don't want
everyone's
all them
visiting.
trucks.
They don't want, you know, people taking their parking
Yeah.
or just even, you know, stopping them from renting their place out.
Yeah.
That would accumulate the financing
Mhm.
for them to get the work done, you know,
Yeah.
for the next year or whatever it may be.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're right. You see a lot of the work being completed within the wintertime
Yep.
and the colder months.
And on the other side of that,
you brought that up.
yeah, and on the other side of that, you're saying, you know, during their peak months, they don't want people there, all this and that. But then, you know, that's when the plumber comes in. They have renters in there. Hey, my sewer's backed up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll be right out there. You know, that's a lot of work for us is emergency stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need you out here now to do it. And I've gone out on those calls 10, 11 o'clock at night, you know, to go unclog a sewer line and all that. So it's a lot. It's a lot, man. There's a lot to plumbing.
For
a
sure.
lot to plumbing.
I mean, and it all comes down to as you could just state it there. You know, you got to go to schooling for that, right?
Yep.
You just talked about 5 years that you're dedicating within a classroom.
Yep.
And really learning the ins and outs from
learning how to draw blueprints, how to read them. Business, they teach you business, how to run your company, how to come up with a company name.
That's pretty cool.
All that kind of stuff, man. They give you a whole book on it.
That's beneficial. I wouldn't think that. You know, I would have thought they would have just taught you, you know, the trade in itself.
Yeah.
You know, and the way you need to operate within the industry and what you need to be, you know, official, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty cool that they even assist you. Like, hey, look, you know, you're gonna spend the money, and which it should be. I mean,
yeah.
So, what is the cost, and what did it cost you to?
I think it was $1,200 a year.
The $1,200,
and that comes with you get a code book.
Okay.
You get all the workbooks, like the business book.
Okay.
Because the plumbing test it's 100 multiple choice code questions.
Yeah.
And then you get a blueprint that you have to draw and size. So everyone thinks you just put pipes in the ground, yeah, it'll go. But if you put a pipe that's too big,
yeah,
that isn't right. It's gonna, believe it or not, when you put say you put like a 3-inch line on a kitchen sink, which is way too oversized,
yeah,
it'll clog up easier because it's more room for stuff to sit in there.
Makes sense.
So they teach you how to do that, how to size everything. And then the last part of it is business. So they do teach you that stuff.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good that, like you said, it should be. If you're paying money like that,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you should be acquiring that information.
They're definitely setting you up to be a professional.
Yeah.
Like, 100% a professional.
That's awesome. So you would say it's worth it to definitely.
100%. If you're looking to get into your own company, start your own business and all that, definitely have to be licensed because, stuff in plumbing goes wrong. If if you're not licensed, you're not insured, then you're pretty screwed.
Yeah.
God forbid you flood someone's house out, they could sue you, and if you're not insured and all that, they could come after your personal stuff, like your house and stuff.
Well, I can imagine too on actually vice versa. Say you're not insured, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not really registered with the state. You don't have your license. A lot of times the homeowner's stuck,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they can't go after your insurance that you
Mhm.
have. You're either your $500,000 liability or whatever your liability is covered for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, if anything, that's a selling point for you to say, look, we have insurance liability where if anything does happen, it's going to be covered underneath our umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if you hire Joe Schmo who doesn't have all this qualifications, doesn't
Mhm.
have the insurance, you're letting him come into your home knowing that if something happens, now you're the homeowner, you're stuck with that. You're
Yep.
liable because you can't sue him, right? Because what if he doesn't own anything?
Yeah.
What are you going to get from
What
him?
if he changed his phone
Right?
number?
What if he
next
changed the
week?
phone number, right? And like you said, he gave you a faulty address. He didn't even
Mhm.
give you a contract,
Yep.
right? I mean, you see it all the time.
Yeah, you do.
Right? I mean, I see it in my industry a
Mhm.
tremendous amount of times. And that's why I always tell when I go out and give estimates, I say, get 2 more estimates, 3 more, so you understand the differences, right?
Mhm.
Of what's the difference in the sense of what we're providing in our services versus maybe one of our competitors that came in.
Mhm.
Are they fully insured, right? Are they registered within the state? So if something does happen, you can follow up, right?
Mhm.
Are all these things, are you checking them off? Make sure that you're safe when you bring this person into your home and their crew, right?
Mhm.
So that's one of the reasons why I always state is, yeah, you might have a quote that comes in at $500,
Mhm.
or you might have a quote that comes in at 10 grand, and you come in as the medium and the real, it's the most reasonable price.
Mhm.
You're not coming in trying to kill anybody with a price, but you're not way below where you're like, how did you come up with that number? But if you're at the 500 mark, most likely you probably don't have any of this stuff that qualifies you to be legitimate, to be a safe haven for a customer to come to you,
Yep.
right? And sometimes you just there's companies that just overprice things way too much, and they're
Yeah.
either new or they just
Or that you just get them big companies like
and they don't care.
yeah, like Horizon, for example. Like they come in and they'll tell you, you need a new heating and air conditioner, and it's gonna cost you 20 grand.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculously high. But if you think about it, they have all all that overhead.
Yep.
You drive underneath a bridge painted orange, and it says Horizon on it.
Exactly.
So I mean, you do get what you pay for. Not to say that they do a bad job, because I don't think they do.
Yeah.
But you're definitely paying. It's like going to Walmart and buying. You're going to a big company, a
Yeah.
really big company, and then I go in after them and give a price, and they're like, "Well, are you sure you know what you're doing? You're pretty low." And it's like, well, I only have one employee, so I don't have all that overhead.
Exactly.
And you're getting just as good of a job from us.
Yeah. If not, probably better.
Yeah,
Right.
if not, if better. And you're getting, when I pull up to someone's house, my name's real big on the truck. It's me
Yep.
coming in there. So the owner.
Exactly.
You can get a hold of me. I can give you my cell phone number. You could text me. You're getting, who's Horizon?
Yeah.
Who is that? Is it Mr. Horizon?
Your customer service is more personable.
Yes.
Right. It's more friendlier.
Family.
It's a family type of
Yeah.
option, and that's the way I look at it from my company. And even if you get bigger in a sense, I would always want that as an option. I never want to be at a corporate standpoint where you're getting the telemarketers, or I think it's important that efficiency is great, but you also need to have that. Hey, you could call me anytime. You could text me anytime, or you could text any of our sales reps anytime, and they'll make sure they're going to be able to come out, dress anything, choose colors for you, right?
Yep.
From our standpoint, anyway. And as your company grows, you can still keep that instilled into the culture and into the value of your service.
Definitely.
But it's true, and getting back to that pricing stage, there's a reason why you're at that mid ground, and it might seem way higher than that $500 guy that comes in and has nothing.
Yeah.
He's coming in an unmarked van or truck, and you don't even know if he's gonna show up the next time you give him the payment.
Absolutely.
Right? And people will go after that. And honestly, a lot of times you don't, like, not to say you don't want any customer, but depending upon what they're looking for, sometimes you're just not a good fit for those customers.
Yeah.
If they're looking to have something done cheap, well, unfortunately, you're gonna have to go with that person because I can't do it feasibly. I can't do it because
and you get what you pay for.
yeah,
You
and
know
you
what
get
I'm
what you
saying?
pay for sure. So I mean, you stay, your pricing will keep you in your market where you
Mhm.
need to be, and if you provide the right services, you're doing the right things, your price is justified easily,
Oh yeah.
right? It's and it should be valued. If it's
Mhm.
not valued by the customer, then they say you really don't want to be doing work for that person anyway because no matter what you do, it's already too much for them, or
Yeah.
they don't believe what you're doing is worth the money that they're putting
Yeah.
out. And
Because I like to go above and beyond for people. I like to think of my customers as, you know, I like to be friendly with my customers.
yeah,
Because plumbing is a lot of it. Well, not a lot. Most of it is all hidden. Like all your pipes are hidden behind walls.
yeah,
So I like to be real informative with my customers. Really let them know what's going on because nobody knows where your sewer line's running in your front yard. You know what I'm saying? Like it's underneath of the ground.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're probably any homeowner like, yeah, I don't know where
Yeah.
my
I don't
main
know where my
sewer drain,
yeah. I don't
leads
know where
in.
my shut off is for the main water.
Yeah,
I got a leak. I don't even know how to shut the water off.
exactly. So I think I'm really glad you highlighted that and you instill that because you need to have that. I
You
mean,
have to.
even for us, obviously ours is presentable,
Yeah.
but you got to be transparent, right?
Mhm.
You got to always have the truthfulness there. You
Mhm.
can't try to hide things from your
No.
customer, even your employee. Like you never want to,
Nah.
right? Yeah, integrity is everything.
Mhm.
You want to be truthful in everything you do because nothing's ever gonna bite you in the ass when it comes
Mhm.
back, right? It allows people to know that they can trust you, and that's
Mhm.
the most important when it comes to business or any relationship in life. You want to be able to trust that person that you're dealing with.
Mhm.
So when it's time to call, they're gonna take care of you. Even though the reality might set in and go, look, unfortunately, this is gonna be a lot more than
Mhm.
what you might have expected. But let me tell you why, right? Let me tell you what's going on behind these walls,
Yep.
and this is what's involved,
Yeah, and,
right?
and let's do it and fix it so you don't ever have this problem again.
Exactly.
Let's take care of it now so in a couple years from now you're not worrying about it. Oh yeah, we just put a band-aid on it for now, just sit and wait until it happens again.
Yeah.
No, let's do it the right way now so you don't ever have to worry about it.
That's great, man. Now, one thing I do want to ask you: do you offer like financing and things like that for your
Um
customers? If there's a big job where it's, yeah,
we used to.
yeah,
We used to. My father did way back before I used to work for him, and he had people asking him to do it.
yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I don't do it, I don't do it." And then he finally was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll do it." And then nobody asked him about it again. So he was like,
Why do I even have
yeah,
it,
why
right?
did I do it? But I think nowadays it's more easier
Yeah,
because you can go to the bank. They can help the customer out get their finance, and the bank pays you.
exactly.
And so forth. So it's a little bit easier, which, we do big jobs where, if someone did ask, I mean, yeah, we would offer it
Yeah, set
for
it up.
sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we do it like a lot of times. If it comes to that, we'll actually finance it within just our own,
Yeah,
financial institution, like
yeah,
what we do. But yeah, I think it's a good thing to have too, because there's some projects that they're gonna get pretty costly,
yeah,
but like you said, let's get it done right the first time.
yeah,
So it's good that you leave those options like that
yeah, for
available too
sure.
for customers.
I mean, I know if someone came to my house and was like, hey, you need a new sewer line, it's going to cost X amount of dollars, I might be like, oh my God, I can't
Yeah, I
do
can't
it.
afford that.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
mean,
drop that
I
in
do
one
get it,
one.
but,
Yeah,
it's just, with plumbing especially, there's a lot involved with just getting down to where the issue is.
yeah,
Like, if you need a full sewer line replacement, your sewer line might be 7 feet down in the ground at the street. That's a lot of digging.
yeah.
People don't realize
It's
that.
more than what you would have if it was like 2 feet in, and
Yeah,
like. So you have to, like you said, you have to do your whole analysis on it
yeah,
before you can even probably come up with a quote for them, and
yeah,
really give them something accurate anyway,
yeah.
right?
You really have to get involved to be like, hey, this is what the issue is. This is how we correct it. So by the time I get to that point, I'm already a couple hours in at the customer's house doing all this stuff, and sometimes they're like,
Yeah.
but I'm like, you've already put in the time there to diagnose it.
Do you charge like a consultation fee for when you go out?
Nah,
So
nah, we
it's
we
always
go out for free, and if someone wants a price on something, it's just,
that's
we don't
awesome,
charge
man.
nothing for
That's
that.
good. Have you ever thought about charging one? Like, cause like you said, you get in scenarios like that.
I have. I've thought about it because
Yeah.
I know one day I am going to be on my own without my father
Yeah.
to run things, and to charge somebody to come out, I mean, I feel like you have more of a chance of them calling you back when you're not like, okay, yeah, I just came out, for whatever, $99,
Yeah,
like, and
yeah,
I didn't do anything.
yep,
I'd rather go there, give them the price, and get the job
yeah.
than be like, yeah, I know, I want my money now just for coming out.
Well, it makes sense too. I mean, one thing I offer, and this is the reason why I asked it, because what you do, it's justified, right? It's
Mhm.
valued. Like you said, you're out there, you're spending, so you're taking your time to drive out there, first of all. So
Mhm.
you're spending money in gas, your time to drive out from wherever you're going. You're taking yourself off the project,
Mhm.
right? So you're not getting paid for that. So who's paying for you for just the time that you get out there?
Yeah.
So normally, what I do, if it's over, if it's over like 30 30 minutes or so,
Yeah.
then I usually charge, right? I'll charge a consultation fee. But the thing is, like you said, if you go out, my goal is when I go out, I'm always there to educate my customer.
Mhm.
It's not just slapping paint up on the wall. I
Yeah.
want to explain to you what goes into our process, what should be done. All right, tell me what you want.
Mhm.
Now, this is what this is what you need essentially. This is what you should have done to make sure it's done correctly. Here's the options that we have for you, and let me explain to you what option is, and then you start opening up their understanding, right? You're teaching them, giving them knowledge they never had before. So right there, that's valued,
Mhm.
right? Well, like I said, then you're spending your time. Usually, every estimate I'm least it's an hour, no matter if it's
Yeah.
10 minutes away from me, or
Mhm.
like I said, it's an hour out. I'm still wasting. I'm not wasting, but I'm spending
Yeah.
at least an hour with the customer going over everything they want us to look at, and then I'm explaining to them obviously our services, what we provide, and then like I said, I'm breaking down what should be
Mhm.
given to them, some options there, right? So your time, who's paying you for that time? That's if you ask the customer, hey, well, if I went to your job, if they're working office, whatever, and I ask you, you know, to go run paper somewheres and go, grab this for somebody, and then go tell them what you know about this, well, we're not going to pay you for that time.
Yeah.
They'd be like, I'm not doing that, right? So if you're bringing all that value to a customer, and
Mhm.
you're expanding their knowledge on something, you're educating them,
Mhm.
you should be paid for that.
Yeah.
And it should be valued. And the thing is, if you go, hey, to combat with what you just stated,
Mhm.
you rather, instead of charge them, you rather get the big job.
Mhm.
I think it's only fair that you go, hey, look, if you do decide to go with us, I'm going to make sure I deduct the,
Yup.
consultation fee off of the invoice,
Mhm.
right? So if you do go with us, we're going to respect that and appreciate that, and we're going to make sure that that's deducted, and we might even give you another discount too,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So it's fair, but there's a lot of customers that are just going to kick the wheels on the car,
Yeah.
kick the tires to test out to get other pricing, maybe to try to negotiate other pricing.
For sure.
So that's something that I definitely think you should keep in mind
Yeah.
and maybe think about installing, because again, you can be stuck on there for 5 hours trying to just figure out
Yeah.
where's the issue and what's
Yup.
going on.
Mhm.
So, you got to get paid for that.
Your time is worth
Your time's worth a
a
lot,
lot.
especially if you know what you're doing, and
Exactly.
you're bringing all these qualifications, these insurances, and everything else
Mhm.
that needs to be paid for.
Yeah.
At this, what do you just come up with? Around 5 to 10 grand just to cover all that expense and not charge it to anything if you're just running around doing estimates and never get a job, right?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's and this is what needs to be exposed
Mhm.
to a lot of people that are looking to, utilize your services, utilize our services,
Yeah.
anything within the trades. You got to like it's really important to expose that, to let people realize that that should be valued, because you went to college for you want this, not college, you want the school,
Yeah.
plumbing school for 5 years to learn all this,
To gain all
to
that
gain all that,
knowledge.
and you got to put the money out of your pocket,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it should be getting rewarded, and it should be valued
Yeah.
for that, and so I think that's something you can definitely implement.
And a job, to go off that, a job that might take somebody an hour that I might be able to do in 25 minutes, and I charge the same
Yeah,
for an hour, and people will be like, oh, well, wait a minute, it only took you a couple minutes, like, this and that. Well, it's like, I like you said, I went to school to learn how to do this in 25 minutes to cut the time down.
mm,
I have all that knowledge now to come out here quickly, right when you needed me,
Yep.
because you have a watermark on your ceiling and you need something fixed.
Yep, you're a tenant right there.
I'm a tentative. I'm right there. So that's what you're paying for.
And not even that. I'm assuming you probably utilize really high-end equipment and tools
100%.
that is going to give you the advantage. But what happens? You got to invest in those things.
Yeah, 100%.
So that guy that took him maybe an hour and it only
Mhm.
took you 25 minutes, you might have had a special tool that allowed you to get there
Exactly.
that much quicker. But
One-
did he invest his time into getting that tool? His money into that.
Yep.
So you want to make sure you make your money back on that.
100%.
Right? And a lot of times that tool's going to allow you to do the job even better anyway
Mhm.
for a finished product.
Yep.
So there's levels to it,
Yep.
right? And it's the same with us. We have products and tools that allow us to get the job done quicker.
Yeah.
But it's still giving you a really high quality end product,
Yeah.
if not even a better end quality product.
Mhm.
Versus if it took them 2 hours. It's not all about timing, right?
Mhm.
Like I said, it just comes down to the quality of the work,
Yeah.
what you provide as a customer service base, right?
Mhm.
As options there, an educational base to your customer, right?
Mhm.
What are you teaching them? What are you showing them? And then in addition to that, the reliability behind your guarantee. Hey, we're gonna make sure if something wasn't working, we're gonna come back and make sure that's fixed.
Oh yeah.
You can call us back and we'll be right there to get it done.
Oh yeah. And even if I did something where something did go wrong, I'm not gonna come back out and say, oh yeah, you owe me another service call.
Yeah.
No, I just did that. I'm gonna take care of you. Obviously, it's something that I put my hands on, so I got to come back out and fix it.
Exactly. And everything's not gonna be perfect every time. So
No.
there is, but if you follow up and say, look, we're gonna abide to what we said we will.
Mhm.
We're gonna uphold to our service. We're gonna make sure it's done the way we said it would be.
Mhm.
And you make yourself good on that. That needs to be valued. That needs to be appreciated. There's a lot of companies that don't do that today.
There isn't. And
They're like, I did it. I'm done. I don't want to deal with them anymore.
Can't see it from my house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I stand by my work 100%. Just an example. Last week I went out for a sewer scope.
Okay.
The camera, the sewer line. The guy was renovating the house and he was having some sewer line problems with the toilets gurgling and all that. So I went out. I stuck a camera down in there and I found out, you got a break right here. This is where it should be dug up and repaired. And he's like, oh, I'm going to dig it myself and all this and that. I'll call you when I have it exposed. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So he calls me back up like the next day. Oh, I can't find it, all this and that. And, I'm thinking like, maybe I mismarked it, and I was like, I'll come back out. And he goes, well, how much is that going to cost? I'm like, I'm going to come back out for free because you already paid me, number one, to do this. And if it was mismarked for any reason, I stand by my work. I'll come back out and do the same exact service that I just did for free because, I want to help you out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be just one of them guys where you call me and you go, oh, this guy really came over here and did like, he was such a hack. He didn't even mark the right spot, this and that. I don't want that.
This guy did a number on us and just got his paycheck and left.
Yeah.
Now, and again, that's what's going to allow your customers to rely on you and to keep calling you back and the referral basis. As the thing is, if you're not doing any of the marketing that you're seeing out there right now and you're sticking to the old school ways, the word of mouth has to be something that
it has to be.
It's working for you, and it has to be. You guys want to be in business. If that wasn't the case.
You don't even want one person saying bad things about you. I mean, you always get those people where maybe they had a bad experience where it wasn't me.
Yeah,
it
just wasn't their expectation.
It just wasn't their expectation.
They thought they were gonna get like everything.
They thought I was gonna roll the red carpet out and all this and that. You're always gonna get them people where they're never satisfied. Even you can go above and beyond, bend over backwards, and they're gonna be like, this guy didn't like. He had dirt on his shoes when he was coming in, which it is a big deal because you are coming into somebody's house. You don't want to do that, but I mean, little things like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, every job isn't gonna be perfect, but if you can go up and hold to it, a lot of customers, they're gonna value that, and they're gonna have great things to say about you. And like you said, you run into some customers where it's just you can never satisfy them.
No.
And a lot of times it's the ones that already think your price is too high, and they try to jip you down before, and it's just not valued to them. And so right there, you're already coming off like almost in a bad start because like we're already paying this guy too much.
Yeah.
So they're gonna look for things to be like, I'll say, look, he ain't doing this, or so you do. I mean, but eventually, once you get your market well, you get your pricing well, you're going to just stay within the range of the customers that you want that are a good fit for you.
And we're pretty local, too. I mean, so it's like we work for people we don't really know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we work, like, I'm from Stratford. My father grew up in Summerdale his whole life, so we do a lot of work in that area. So it's
That's
a lot of
awesome.
people who like know him or went to school with him, know of him. So it's like you're not working for total strangers.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I'm glad you're talking about location. Where is your company located out of?
So his office is really in Summers Point.
Okay,
That's where like the business address is.
gotcha,
But we only have one truck on the road, and
gotcha.
it's parked at my house
Okay,
in Glendora.
okay.
So Summers Point, Glendora. I mean, we really service anywhere
Oh,
in
the
New
area.
Jersey, like anywhere.
That's awesome.
Like nowhere's too far.
Yeah, that's how we are. We're the same.
Yeah.
We'll go out to North Jersey.
Oh yeah. When I first started, we were doing
We're down south.
restaurants all the way up in North Jersey and Linden, New Jersey,
Really?
and that was a drive.
Yeah, that's what, like a 2-hour drive.
That was like a 2-hour drive. We were working overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, we go everywhere. As
That's
long
awesome.
as long as like I wouldn't drive all the way up there to put a faucet on.
Yeah, well,
But
it has to be worth it.
It has to be worth the while.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. But now, I mean, you get commercial jobs out there, and you
Yeah.
gotta take them because it's
You
worth it.
got to.
You're a lot of times you're better off just staying there too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could get a hotel for the night and
Mm-hmm.
knock the whole week out.
Because
come home on
with
a weekend,
any trade, electric, painting, I mean, you have your slow times
Mm-hmm.
and you have your busy times.
Yeah.
And you got to strike while the iron's hot, man.
For sure. I mean, one thing I know you said you're pretty old school. You don't do the advertising. One thing that's gonna help you avoid those lulls is definitely the advertising.
Yeah.
If you start doing videos, right? I mean, you're pretty familiar with our page.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
So if you start doing videos of you going, hey, hey, this is Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I want to show you guys what we're doing today, right? Boom. You're just showing them changing out a faucet.
Yeah.
Boom. Already right there, you're creating a brand. You're creating familiarity with your service, your work, with you.
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna start feeling more comfortable. That will start selling project for you,
Yeah.
and that's what's gonna help you fill those voids. Where if you're just waiting on all the word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
So, one thing I can tell you, as you move forward, and you want to keep definitely investing into that, and
Yeah.
start making that an avenue because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone's on their phone.
Oh,
I mean,
always.
if you ask the average person how much time they're on their phone,
Your phone tells you nowadays.
yeah, it tells you.
It
All you gotta
tells
do
you
is go
that.
on there.
Every
You
Sunday
spend
it tells
5
you.
hours on social media.
Yup.
It's like 5 hours. At least 10 minutes, someone's gonna come across your ad
Yeah.
or come across your post.
I mean, how many ads do you see on Instagram just on your page?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it's a good
saying?
amount.
People pay for that stuff.
Yeah.
I do it on Facebook.
Okay.
I've been picking up
Yeah.
because now it used to be just me working.
Gotcha.
For like, I'd say about 2 years I was on my own without
Okay.
my dad in the truck with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started, I learned from him, and I could eventually just started running my own service calls.
Yeah.
I could go out to a house and diagnose the problem, fix it, and then now that I have a helper with me who's the greatest helper I could ever ask for.
Yeah.
He's learning so much on his own where I could leave him somewhere, show him how to do something, tell him to do this and that, and he could do it. I could leave for 2 hours, come back, and he'll have it done.
That's awesome.
So since I've been having him, I've been doing a lot more pictures and videos of him working and
Yeah,
all that.
frees you up.
Showing everybody what's going on
Yeah.
and all that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely keep doing it. Get
Uh-huh.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
Start the Instagram page. That's gonna be a game changer for you.
Mhm.
It's 10 times better than Facebook,
Yeah.
honestly. Instagram is, dude, I get like a call a week.
Yeah.
When we're in busy season, at least a call.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's like 3 calls a week just from the
Mhm.
Instagram. Obviously Facebook's linked,
Yeah.
so which is great. The social platforms now, it's easy because
yeah.
you just manage one account and then it'll just do the work for every other account. Like, it'll
Exactly.
just post on. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about managing all these different platforms.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of easier ways now. It's more efficient.
Yeah.
And they're saying, and that's where it's going to, man. I mean,
It is.
websites are, they're still essential,
Yeah.
but they're nothing compared to what it is now with
Nope.
like the Instagrams.
Because people our age are going and buying houses.
Yeah.
They might not know
Yeah.
a painter, a plumber.
For sure.
Hey, I need an electrician. They're gonna hop on Instagram and be like,
Look, 2 things that are growing tremendously, and I'm about to do the investment now. I did a lot of research with it. I
Mhm.
keep getting calls from these companies. Voice search, right?
Mhm.
Alexa, can you find me a plumber near me?
wow.
Right? Google, 50% of searches when it comes to trades
Mhm.
or just companies in general, a lot of it's done through voice search.
Wow.
Like 50%. is voice search.
I didn't know that.
And it's growing more and more because it's more compatible now.
Yeah.
It's on computers, it's on cell phones, and they're
Yeah.
getting more devices that have them. So I just got a call from one of the companies the other day. Like, John, come on, one time fee. This is to show you what kind of other services we are, because they do like websites and all that. It was like $290.
Wow.
One time fee for lifetime, and they'll put you in a 100-mile radius. You can downsize it.
Wow. I did not. That's something
So,
really to look into.
It's. I mean, think about it. A lot of people now, they don't even want to text on the phone, so they're just like, hey,
Yeah.
hey Google, find me a painter near me.
Yeah.
And your information comes up.
Because I have it set up on Google where you could type in plumber near me.
Yeah, so you have the Google ad.
Just
search.
the Google ad, yeah. But
yeah.
that's on, like, in Glendora. If you're in Glendora, I'll be the first one to pop up.
Gotcha.
Because I have my address on Google as Glendora, because that's where I live.
Yep.
And I've gotten a ton of calls from there.
That's awesome.
From people who have like something leaking, and they're like, oh yeah, I don't know nobody, plumber near me.
Avenue, man.
There's another one.
So definitely look. I'll give you the number of the guy.
Yeah.
I'll tell him.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool.
But yeah, I'm gonna sign up with it actually Monday.
That's cool.
Put me in.
Yeah.
But that's great. I heard Angie's List, Home Advisor. I heard
I've
mixed
done
things.
them. I've done them before.
How do they work out for you?
Not so good.
Okay.
Nah, it's a lot of people who have nothing but time on their hands, and they're down in their basement. They're like, I wonder how much that would cost, and they think I have nothing better to do than to come out and give prices all day.
Leads for you.
Like what we were talking about earlier. You come out there, and for me, I don't charge a fee to come out, and that's kind of where I was getting, bit in the ass a little bit, because they're like, oh yeah, this guy's got nothing better to do than come give me a quote on my water heater. I'm not even going to get it ddone. I was just curious on how much it would cost me.
One thing I can tell you, to help avoid a lot of that, try to pre-qualify your customers, right?
Yeah.
Ask them, have a question, like build yourself a questionnaire. There's questions that you can ask where you're like, all right, so you have this, you have that. Well, look, for me to come out, usually this is the cost of it. Right there can already cut you off and save you time. If you give them your pricing, right, and say, hey, look, this is what it normally would cost depending upon what's involved. You already told me your issue. This is what should happen. This should take place. This is what I would do, right? You're educating them. Here's a price. Oh, that's way too much out of my budget. I would never thought that.
Yeah.
Never mind. Boom.
Yeah.
And then you didn't just waste 30 minutes. Or, oh yeah, that's no problem. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Come on out. Boom. You're already like pre-qualifying.
Yeah.
Right? So there's questions you can ask where all right, what's involved?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, look, all right, this is what, okay. Like for me, I'll do a standard price of a room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, so you want the room. How big's the room? Like, if you just by hand, if you could.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 10 by 10 room. Okay, so it's an average room. This is what our average price is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, yeah. We'd love to have you come out and check
Yeah.
that. You can pre-qual. And now you just saved yourself so much time.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a good step to always take into consideration when doing that. So you're, especially if you're just, it's you and another guy.
Yeah.
And
it does take up a lot of time.
I've been there. I've done it. This is why I'm saying it, because it's just years and years of you doing it.
Yeah.
Or like I said, thankfully I had a chance to do this with my father. So this was his full-time gig. This is all he had.
Yep.
For me, I was working at another company, so I was coming home either doing estimates on the weekend, doing projects on the weekend, or I was coming home putting 4 to 6 hours at most to the business of keeping it legit. So that's me doing the books. That's me, doing the invoices, proposals, things like that. The marketing, which wasn't nothing crazy like it is now, because I didn't really have the time. It takes a lot of time, man.
It does.
So I can see where you're at, from your standard. It's going to help you grow.
Yeah.
Believe me, like, you're going to keep fine-tuning these things.
Yeah.
But, there's, like, 2 things right there that can really help save you the time, qualify. But I heard that, with Angie List, Home Advisor, this type of companies.
Yeah.
I heard, a lot of times it's, like, dead-end leads.
It is.
It
is.
And sometimes, see, the thing is, it's weird, though, because, I spoke with this other, another guy that actually cleans chimneys and does chimney repair. And he's like, honestly, dude, I get a lot of good calls from that.
Yeah.
He's like, the thing is, you got to be really attentive. Like, you have to answer right there.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're gonna lose it. Like, so he said, like, you really have to be on that.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm like, fitting my model, I'm gonna have to hire someone just to manage that, because
just to do that,
it's already outrageous for my own branding and marketing that I'm doing. Where I'm like, it's not worth my time right now.
Yeah.
Maybe if I do another crew or 2, then maybe I'll bring that on. But So yeah, I mean, it's just like you find what works for you.
Yeah, you'll find.
Right?
I mean, because I'm still pretty young in it, man.
Yeah.
I've only been doing this for 5
Like you
years.
said, 21.
Yeah, I started when I was 21. I'll be 27 in a couple months.
So there you
So
go.
I've only been doing it a couple years.
Dude, we have a lifetime.
Exactly.
Just more experience to learn.
I'm gonna be working till the day I die,
Yeah,
dude.
I think everyone is at this point. There's
Yup.
to me, if you ask me, I don't see too many retirement options for the middle class people anyway.
No,
you know, like,
you really don't.
fortunately, it's a shame to say it, but
Yeah.
you know, it's the way things seems like it's going.
Yeah.
You know, Social
You know?
Security doesn't look like it's going to be there when we're
No.
ready to go.
And I mean, not to throw any like doom and gloom into the podcast, but I mean, my grandfather literally died plumbing. Like he was on the job,
Oh
you
my
know,
God,
had a stroke
really?
a couple years ago. Yeah, and like worked till the day he died.
That's like it's sad.
It's crazy. I mean,
you see that and you're like, man, like, hopefully you can get your business
yeah,
to a point where, you know,
I could have maybe a crew like a 2 guys in a truck.
Yeah,
because
like-
I feel like you go any more than that, I mean, you got a couple guys working for you, but
Yeah.
for me personally, it might be too much of a headache because because plumbing and the trades, you got to worry about guys taking your truck out, doing stuff on the side, taking stuff off your truck.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to. That's nothing.
You got to find a guy that you really,
you have
really
to
trust.
pre-qualify your employees.
100%.
It's really important for that as well. I mean, obviously, you have insurance to protect you if they do steal things from me, and obviously, you'll handle that the way you need to. I mean, when you get bigger, do those issues arise? They do, but there's ways to combat them.
Yeah,
there's ways to avoid a lot of that. Like I said, how's your hiring process? What's the bucket of employees that you're pulling from?
Yeah.
Right? Are you pulling from people that are really trustworthy, have a good track record?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not to bash anyone that has a bad track record, but all right, what have you been doing within the past couple of years, right? What's that look like? So it's you got to have a good process, especially with you. A lot of your stuff's interior, right? You're inside, you're in residential homes, and you want a workforce that you can trust.
Yeah.
Employees that you can trust. So, it is tough, but it's really workable. It's doable.
Yeah, it is.
One thing I can say too, with the advertising, Instagram, you'll be able to have a lot of great employees reach out to you. Well, possible prospects reach out to you as employees because they're gonna see your environment, your culture. They're gonna learn who you are. They're gonna see the quality and service that you provide. And like, I want to stand behind that. I want something that when I go lay my head down at night, I can be happy for the work that I put out, right? Versus working for a company that doesn't care about quality, or it's tough to come into work and be like, all right, we're just gonna do half minimum bare ass shit and that's it,
Yeah.
So when you highlight all that, Instagram's like a highlight reel for you.
Yeah.
To show, look, this is what we do. This is how we do it. This is who we are. It's like it's your portfolio and a highlight reel of going, and it shows the facts. Like, look, this is what you're gonna get from us. It's a reality aspect of it. Like, it's not everything's perfect, right? It shouldn't be that way. You should be realistic in a lot of things that you do when you post, right, in your videos. It doesn't have to just be this perfect crop picture. I mean, I barely crop anything I put on there, unless it's other crew and I'm trying to make ourselves look a little better. but when it comes to like the service, the quality, it should be realistic so people understand like exactly what they're gonna get. You don't want to hyphen anything up. But when you're doing that, people are gonna learn your business and they're like, I'd like to go work for a company like that.
Yeah.
Reason why I'm saying it, I'm seeing it. I already got 4 calls this last month and then going into this year. 4 calls of people going, hey John, I seen what you guys do on Instagram. I'd really like to come work for your company.
That's awesome.
And now you're not even looking to do a hiring like going on Indeed.com.
They're coming to you.
They're coming to you because you're creating that brand. You're creating that culture for them to see like, I want to come work there.
Yeah.
You don't see that much in businesses.
You don't.
You don't see that anymore. Businesses don't advertise that. If anything, you get these big corporate company, segment commercials where they're like, "Oh, come work for us, and this is why it's so great. We have this."
It looks like a 50 sitcom or something.
And you're just like, cool, but what's the real culture? What happens when I walk into your office?
Because it's totally different.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Totally different.
So if you can highlight that, be like, yo, this is what it's like really here.
Yeah.
people are going to know exactly what they're going to get themselves into. And then, boom, you're already qualifying them.
Yeah.
Right? Versus you hiring them and they're like, oh, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I know a lot of times people are like, well, like, do you want to put that much exposure of yourself, your company, your processes, on these platforms?
Yeah.
Because when other companies just do what you're, go try.
Yeah.
Because right now, look, they're already way behind. If they are going to try, thank God, do it, because we need more companies that are doing this. There needs to be more customers out there that have options, right?
Yeah.
That's what keeps the market,
Going.
fair,
Yeah.
going, but it makes it better, right? So if somebody wants to copy what we're doing, more than the merrier. Why?
Yeah.
Because they're still not going to be our culture.
It's not going to be Johnny
Not going to be
Google.
our service, right?
Yeah.
So, and we're not perfect for everybody. It's impossible to be. Just because people are in different mindsets at certain times, financial aspects, there's so many variables that will make somebody go, I don't think we're going to be a good fit for them. But there's so many people just in this country alone.
Dude, there are so many people.
Right? So, what do you just want to have, all the 300 million people that's in this country? Like, no. You take your portion.
Yeah.
And they're the customers of your company.
And you're not the only painter in the world.
No.
I know I'm not the only plumber in the world,
But if I can go out there and I see another up and coming company or a company that's been in forever and I'm like, I like what Google Paint's doing. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Like that's great. I'm glad that's happening because we need more of it. We need more quality. We need more people to realize that trades aren't just low life people that come in and they're just trying to make a quick buck and they're doing, there's really a lot of talented, smart individuals that are great, just great people,
and
that
they really care about
willing
what
to
they're
service
doing.
And care about exactly. They're really there to service the customer and make a difference in people's life.
Because there's really great people out there to work for too.
For sure.
On the other end of that, people,
for sure.
Who you don't work out. There's people out there where I love working for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, when they call up and I'm like, I'll drop everything right now and come over.
I'm not lying to you. I feel like every customer we get, it is far from none. I mean, I'm telling you, like, every customer, it's been a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's just been, and again, I think you just attract. It's what you put out into the world, you will get back. Right? It's the law of attraction, and I really believe it. And I mean, our relationships with our customers, it's like family.
Yeah,
it really is. A lot of times, 3 o'clock, John, stop. Your crew's done. Come on, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna have a beer. We're gonna have some dinner. Whatever. They'll make you, food. And
I have those customers. They're great to work for.
It's unbelievable.
They're great.
And there's a reason for it. If you weren't a good crew or you didn't really care in your work, you think they're gonna sit you down at their kitchen table and say, "Come sit down and talk with us." And, let's really get to know who you. My thing is, like, when my employees come in, I'm like, everyone introduce yourself. Really get to know who these people are, right? Because you're gonna be spending time in their home.
Oh yeah.
They gotta trust you. They should trust you, and let them know who you are.
Because
right?
Painting doesn't just take. Oh yeah, I'll come in here and paint this. Take me one day.
Yeah.
You're gonna be there for a couple days, so it's kind of like.
Especially the projects we're always on. I mean, we're usually 4 days.
Yeah.
That's our average job time.
Yeah. I mean, when I go out on
rooms.
when I do service calls, I mean, I might be there for like an hour, 2 hours, but then there are jobs where I'm there for like 2-3 days. And, you really get to know. You're in somebody's house.
Exactly. It's a lot of trust to let somebody come in your home.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of our customers, open door policy, come in whenever you want. Come knock it out. And it should be that way.
It should.
It really should be that way. And it just comes with your culture and how it's ran.
Yeah.
And you just attract the same thing. You attract the employees you want because you're showing it. And I think that's the importance of exposing a lot of it, right?
Yep.
Putting yourself out there to let people know this is who I am. This is what you're buying. As a service, you're investing your money, your time into, right? I mean, the customers invest their time into you too, in a sense,
Yeah.
So, it's like I said, it's what you put out there.
And especially with me, I mean, it's family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my uncle does it. So sometimes when you call him, he might not have the time to come out, so he's going to send me. You're getting his nephew.
Yeah.
And now his daughter's doing it, so you might get me and my cousin.
That's
or
awesome.
You might get me and my dad. You might get my dad and my uncle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
How old's his daughter?
So she's 18.
Okay.
And she's just getting into it.
That's awesome, man.
She's just getting
That's
into
one
it.
thing I'm like, I really want to see more of too. I want to see more women in the trades, man.
Why
like,
not? They could do it.
It's like, it's pretty cool. I've seen a couple of girls. This one girl has her own, maybe both of them own it. I don't know. But it was on Instagram. And they have their own spackling company.
Really?
It's all they do is tape and
Yeah.
spackle, and they're
Mhm.
phenomenal. And it's awesome to watch them. It's
Yeah.
just them two, and they'll go and do a whole entire a whole entire story of a house.
That's cool.
You know, brand new house, and they'll go
Yeah.
in there. It's all studded out. They come in through the the drywall's already up,
Mhm.
but they come in, they just tape and spackle.
Yeah.
And I forget what they call it. They call themselves like the Spackle Girls or something. Something something cool. But it was just
There's
really
nothing
neat.
wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
It's awesome, and I think it's so. I think uh, I don't a little bit of degrading. Like people look at it like, oh, you're a girl, you're gonna go do that, right? Or there's
It's honest. It's honest work.
It's honest work, and it's something that's it's amazing to be done with. Like when you're finished with it,
Oh my god.
you're like, dude,
yeah.
I did that.
You're like, step back and look at that. You know what I'm proud of that. I love that.
There's nothing better. Like that's one thing I can say within a lot of the trades. Like even with what you do, like even though it's behind walls and stuff, when you're done, you're like, man, I just did that entire contraption.
Yup.
Right? I just engineered that whole thing.
Yup.
And I know that's gonna run perfectly
for the next 80 years.
80 years, exactly. Like it's stuff like that where you can take so much pride into your work, and it's hard to find that within a corporate setting. I know because I've done it.
Yeah.
Like, you run these reports where it's mundane reports all the time, making the same results, but just different, over time, every week. And you're like, okay, like, same report, cool, hand that in. That's, oh, okay, another meeting today, cool. Like, versus, like, boom, today we just got done this job. Look how cool this is.
Yeah, you're like,
we just
awesome.
got done painting this wall over here. We did this custom woodwork over here. I just made this person's house that looked, 10 times worse. And now it looks like a brand new home.
Yep. And to go back with the girls, I have a buddy who's actually the best man at my wedding. His fiance actually started her own supply company.
Really?
In Philly. So she
awesome.
sells like heating and air equipment, plumbing equipment, all
do
that.
Do you buy a lot of your supplies from her?
Well, Philly's a little bit too far.
A little far.
I mean, I'd love to go in there because it's her and her sister
That's
just started
awesome,
a supply
man.
company
That
one
is
day.
amazing.
It's
I love hearing that stuff.
And I even went to school with plumbing school with a female.
Okay.
Who was in my class, and she was always the dirtiest one coming in. She'd have dirt head to toe in
Really?
dirt, and it's like,
Hey.
what were you just doing?
Yeah, she's like, I was just changing that toilet. That's awesome, man. And I feel like it needs to be more. It needs to be more. Just, I think, accepted.
Yeah.
And more motivated to be applied. Like, I think girls shouldn't just think like they gotta go to.
They can go out and get
school.
their hands dirty during the day and come back
sure.
and put a dress on and
yeah,
look
and
hot.
still look great. Yeah, 100%, man. Still looking good, and I just think you lose a lot of that, especially where we're at. It's amazing how prevalent the trades are on the East Coast, but also you still have that connotation where it's like how the girls just they stay pretty and they do work like that versus like you said getting their hands dirty. And
it's a new.
I mean, do you have them? There's anomalies on them, but I think there should be a lot more, man.
Yeah. Especially
today, like you see, like you gotta go to school, you gotta go to school, you gotta go to school. Is it good for us in that sense? It sort of is because it's gonna make our value of our work a lot more. Because you're seeing a huge gap now, right? You're seeing a huge gap in the sense of individuals that don't know this type of work.
Yep.
You're seeing that there, but it's a bad thing too because we want qualified employees that could come work and keep growing our companies.
It's hard.
Right?
It's very, very hard.
Are we going to be able to pay, essentially maybe charge more for our service because we're going to be a dime, it's a rarity versus, you could just pick us wherever you want, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be, a rarity for sure. Finding good, and this is why I want to expose it. Bring good companies on here to show, like, look, this is the difference. This is what you need to invest your money into, especially because you're gonna have all these people working in the corporate world, and But I think there needs to be another shift and go. This type of work is not going anywhere. No matter how good technology gets.
No.
You can't unless you rebuild every home in America and make them all module homes, and then you can send robots in. But until then,
people are still going to need their toilet.
Yeah.
You're still going to need to take a hot shower.
Yeah, and
that's never going anywhere. People are still going to want to paint their walls a pretty color.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, people don't, a lot of people don't realize just the effect of paint, how it can make people feel.
Yeah.
And I've been on so many jobs where we had people, diagnosed with cancer and just weren't even thinking about holding the job off because, why even have it? And then you paint the house and they're just, John, you don't realize how much extra.
It's like a new house.
You don't realize how much extra pep in a step this person has got.
Yeah.
More just vigority of life that they feel that they were so glad you did this.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they're rejuvenated.
Mhm.
You know, that's somebody that was diagnosed with cancer, you know, terminal, doesn't know when they're going to go. Like, I had, and for me to go into work, it was awesome, man. Like, to be like,
Yeah.
this is why I do what I'm doing. Because
Yeah.
I know I'm making a difference.
Yeah.
I'm making people love what they invest their time in.
Mhm.
I mean, people are in their homes. What?
Especially now.
At least 70% of the time of their life, almost. Right? Right?
At least especially what's going on now.
So the thing, it's amazing when you can make people just really appreciate their belongings, the assets that they put their money and their time into. I mean, think about how long it takes people to pay off homes.
Yeah.
Right. And you could come in and go, look, I want to make sure your place stays in the shape that it should, and I'm going to make it where you feel your best person.
So you can enjoy it while you're here.
Enjoy while you're there.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. That we had that opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's something you won't get if you work in a corporate office.
No.
And I think more people need to see this, you know, especially the younger generation, that you don't have to just go to school to be successful.
No.
Right? You could be a really successful laborer if it's either you work in a union or for a private company, and go do a job that gives you not only a physical endurance aspect of, you know, improving your body and everything like that, but from a mental and a valued standpoint, you're gonna love what you do.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thinks plumbing's gross. Oh, you're touching gross stuff. You know, poop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, I love it. Every day I'm doing something different. You know, one day I could be going 40 minutes down this way to, you know, jackhammer concrete and fix a drain line that's underneath of a slab, or, you know, the next day I can go to 10 minutes down the road and pull a toilet and, you know, redo that. So I'm always doing different things, and it's so, like, satisfying.
Yeah.
Like, when you get called out to, like, that emergency job, oh, my sewer's backed up, I need you out here now, and you're fighting it. You're there for, like, an hour, and you're fighting it, and it finally goes, and you're watching that water go down, you're like,
hell yeah.
You're like, hell yeah, I did that, man.
That's right.
Like, it's so satisfying to watch that, and you go home and you're like, yeah, like, hell yeah, you know, I took care of this person. They could flush the toilet tonight.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know, they're not worrying about sewer flies and the rest of their house getting damaged. Like, it could get a lot worse than, you know, so, like, you really resolved a lot of big issues that could have been.
And I'm doing a lot of, like, you know, like, we don't really get too much into, like, the French drain, but we do a little bit of waterproofing.
All right.
Like, the other day, we did, like, a little area drain outside of, like, the Belco doors right there. So, I mean, then that's take care of water. I mean, rainwater, it's water. It's going to damage your house.
Sure. Anything with foundations, man, you want to make sure you really have your house in the right stable foundation, because if not, you know, it can be really, really bad in the sense of, you know, financial ruins.
Even like sewer water, if it's backed up into your basement, and, you know, like, you can't just let that go. I mean, it's not healthy to breathe that in.
Nope. Like I said, it'll create sewer flies. Yeah. And, like you said, the toxins from it.
Especially if you have, like, little kids in the house and stuff. Like, it's no joke.
Yeah, man. It's like you said, what you do, man, it's important.
It's
something to be proud of when you're done doing it.
The plumber protects the health of the nation.
For sure, man.
Yep.
Yes, sir. That's a good one. I like that. I like that. It's a good quote. But yeah, I think that's a great aspect of it, man. With the trades, is, like you said, it's always something new.
Yeah, right? Always.
You know, even if you're on a project for a couple months, it's still like, you know, you're running into new things within the project.
Always.
And then, but you're always going to another job site, man.
Always.
That's what's awesome. Like, you're constantly traveling,
seeing new places you never seen before,
right? And a lot of times it's not traveling where you're like, you're gonna miss your family forever, right?
No, you might be taking like an hour drive here.
Yeah. And what's awesome too, you're always meeting new people,
and you're always learning something new. I mean, I'm still young in it, but my dad and my uncle, they've been doing it for 35 years. They're still learning new stuff.
Same with my dad.
Still learning new stuff.
You know, I'm here. I'm like, yo, Dad, what do you think about it? He's like, John, it's a cool idea, man.
All the new
awesome.
materials.
Like, check this, what they do, you know?
All the new materials they come out with, and all how things have changed from back in the day with the cast iron drain lines. Like, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all...
It's all PVC.
You glue the PVC together.
Shark bites, right?
Oh, you know, you don't want to use a shark bite, but nah.
See, that's why I got you on.
Yeah, see. Yeah. I mean, that's more like, you know, for like a quick fix.
A quick fix to come back and
for
fix
like
it later.
Yeah, for like a homeowner, like, hey, like, I just wanted to stop this from leaking real quick, or like, You know, because they're not really rated for like a long-term
Like
fix.
longevity.
They could
Yeah.
blow, and I've seen them blow before.
Really?
And you don't want that.
Ooh,
Nah,
yeah,
you
that
don't
would
want
be good.
that.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
people don't even solder anymore.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
do
it's
the
all,
pro press.
Yep.
Oh, it's all crimped and the pecs and all that. I mean,
Yeah,
plumbing,
PEX is what the newest probably, right?
that's the newest.
The
I
newest
mean,
stuff.
it's definitely, they've definitely made it easier,
Yeah.
but that's not to say that anybody could do it. I mean, yeah, anybody could put
Well,
a piece of pipe together, but is it going to be done the right way?
for sure, like you said, angles, everything. You
Yeah.
need to have the right couplings. Like
Yup.
if you don't have the right couplings or 90-degree angles and things
Yup.
like, you can have gas being trapped in
Yeah, and you
and
can't
drainage
you can't mess around with
Yeah.
gas either, like
Yep.
just natural gas. I mean,
that shit
I've-
can be explosive.
it could kill
right?
somebody.
Yeah.
It really could kill somebody. I've seen the most messed up stuff. People, oh yeah, I could do anything. I'll put your water heater in, and they don't they don't do the exhaust the right way. That's gases coming through.
Your entire house.
Yeah, you could kill somebody doing that. It's
That's what I'm saying.
It's
and
big.
that's why it's important. Invest your money in the right companies, the
Yeah.
right services. Don't try to cheat and be like, oh, I'm gonna save $500, but there's all these red flags on the wall.
yeah, yeah,
It's important, man, and that's why I said I want to keep bringing companies on like this because companies like you and just business owners like you, because it's important that we highlight what really goes into
Mhm.
it. If you had to walk us through, like, what's your day to day? What's it look like for you as a business owner for your company right now?
So on a day to day, I've been getting more involved with like the scheduling
Yeah.
aspect. So like I've been giving my number out more and more and more to people, like, hey, just straight up contact me.
Okay.
I'll get it done for you. So, I like to set my schedule. Sometimes it's like, you get a call real late in the afternoon. Okay, yeah, I'll fit you in tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll move some things around. So it's for me, it's a lot of moving parts.
Yep.
Because like today, I did around a little gas line today in summer. Okay, yeah, we're done for the day. Oh, no. We got to back up at the church. We got to go there. So it's a lot of things where it's like you're flying by the seat of your pants a lot of the time.
Yeah, I can imagine
Yeah,
that.
you got a lot of
especially with your work.
It's a lot
Right.
of emergency work.
Yeah.
A lot. Or it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You could do a quick little job 10 minutes down the road and then okay, yeah, I'm just going to come home and hang out for a little bit. Like, oh yeah, no, I got, 2 hours, 3 hours go by and you're like, oh no, I got to run out again and do this.
Yep.
Or hey, I got to go run out and look at this, set this up. So it's a lot of moving parts. A
Sure,
lot.
man.
It moves around a lot. Oh, hey, I can't make it here today. Sorry, I told you I could come. I had something come up. I'll have to move you to another day. We'll have to figure it out. So it's a lot. But, my customers are mostly understanding. Like, if I had to push somebody to, like, a day or two, they're like, okay, yeah, no problem. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't leave someone's house in a mess or something. Like,
Yeah.
I'll see you next week, dude. I can't make it.
Yeah.
It's usually, like, smaller jobs where I'm like, hey, can I come, tomorrow instead? Or, hey, can I come next week instead? And they're usually, 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, no problem. It's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like if like a sink or something's just leaking, and you're like, hey, look, you're not gonna use the sink today. Like,
Yeah.
I'll come back and fix your
Like
faucet.
I had a call today from a girl that I know who I've been doing work for a couple times. She's like, hey, my shower's leaking. I got a big wet spot on the ceiling. Like, can you come out? And I was like, I might not be able to make it out till like next week. This and
Yeah.
that. But I made sure. I'm like, hey, is it only leaking when you use it,
Yeah,
or do you notice that it's leaking
all the time.
all the time? And she's like, I think it's just when I'm using it. So I was like, okay, so you have another shower, right? Yes. I was like, so just try not to use that one until I can get out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm just a little bit busy right now, but I definitely will get out there, to take care of you.
Yeah.
But if she was like, hey, I got sewer water all over my basement, I was like, okay, well, I'll move some things around and I'll come out to you as soon as I can.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's the right thing to do too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, man, it's pretty cool to like see your perspective from it. From emergency service on top of obviously you schedule it whenever, but
yeah,
for us it's never an emergency.
yeah.
Do we get like an emergency sense of some of the commercial work that we do with
Yeah.
like the assisted livings and like we got to make sure this
That's
room's
usually
done.
how it goes with
Yeah,
those guys.
yeah, you know what I mean. But I mean that's pretty much the only thing we get is
Yeah.
an emergency option when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see a little bit how it's a little more advanced
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
it's a tougher schedule to navigate.
It is.
You know?
It is, because you feel bad telling people, I'm sorry, I told you I could come out today. I
Well, you're
can't.
like on call,
Yeah, you're
right?
pretty much on call.
You're like on call.
Yeah, especially when you work for yourself.
Exactly.
You're on call.
Yeah.
That's your name on the truck.
Mhm.
Again, you're not just like Rotor Rooter driving around. It's Mike Panetta, real big on the truck.
Yeah.
My number, my address.
Yeah.
People can find me.
Yeah.
That's not can't go into a job and be like, oh yeah. I'm doing this, that, and this and that, and do it all messed up, and then be like, oh yeah, I'll just duck this guy's calls. Like, you could find me on Google. My
Yeah.
home address is on there. You could, if you really wanted to, you can come knock on my door.
Exactly.
So not saying that I do the right work because I don't want that. I do the right work because I'm taking pride in it, and this is my livelihood.
Exactly.
It's how I eat.
For sure, and maybe your kids will take over the business one day. And,
One can hope. I hope so.
Right. So it's like, you're here to make a legacy, something that's gonna last, and something where people can count on when they need you.
And I'm the next generation.
Exactly.
I'm a third generation plumber, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm trying to break through, and like we were talking about earlier, get on the social media.
Yeah.
Do all this because my grandfather was in the truck with him and another guy. My uncle's in the truck with him and his daughter. My dad was in the truck with just another guy for all them years before I was there, and then it was me and him.
Yeah.
And now it's me and my helper. So there definitely is room to grow.
For sure. I mean, you have a
And
lot of
break through.
opportunity. I see. Like, I think you could run, 2 nice solid crews.
Yeah.
And
It's possible.
And you just oversee, like, all right, I'm in charge of scheduling, looking at the projects, right? Doing what, like, when it comes time, you'll notice, like, you need to do that. To have a really successful company, you need to stand back, and you can't keep doing all the work.
Yeah.
Because then you're missing all that opportunity, as you said, to do the marketing, do the paperwork, the contracts, right? Right now, your dad's doing it. So eventually, you're going to have to push that off onto someone where they're taking your job.
There's only so many hours in a day.
Exactly. So, and obviously, you could pay people to do some of this stuff. But when you first start off, you got to do a lot of it on your own.
Oh, yeah.
To help save the money.
Oh, you got to work your way up,
yeah,
man.
for sure.
Yeah. I don't want nothing handed to me either.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying? I love working for what I have, and I've learned from my dad, obviously, but like I've, not to say I know everything about plumbing, but I know a lot. I know what I'm doing, obviously. So, and it's.
Well, look, put it this way: you could have been the person to be like, oh yeah, my dad just gave me this business, and you did nothing with it.
Yeah, I don't want that. Yeah,
and you didn't go to school and get the extra, education to
Yeah.
get your licensing, and you're just like, I'm doing whatever I can run this company to the ground. I don't really care.
Yeah, like the guy from Horrible Bosses.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. That's right. Yeah, that guy was funny, man. That was great. I forgot about that movie.
What was his name? Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby. Bobby something, dude.
I forget.
Remember he had when he walked into the office, his dad just passed away, right? He comes in from the funeral, the one of the employees, and he's like, "Yeah, where were you?" He's like, "Why are you late?" He's like, "I was at your dad's funeral." He's like, "Oh, well, I guess it's a little too late for that one, huh?"
Yeah.
And then he has the name tag, and he put like scotch tape on it and wrote Bobby and had like the last name. Oh man, that movie's good, dude.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
That movie's good. He's like, yeah, we
gotta trim some of the fat.
We gotta trim some of the fat around here. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like,
I want you to fire all the fat people.
He's like, no, honestly, I want you to get rid of all the fat people. He's like, what? He's like, first one's going to large Marge. She's out of here. He's like, dude, she's pregnant. He's like, all right, we'll keep Marge. Man, that movie is,
that's funny.
Man, they did a number on that movie. That movie was awesome, man. You're gonna make me go watch that movie again, dude.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's awesome. But it's true though. I mean, and obviously you've seen it. I mean, I've seen it. I don't know if you have, but I've seen it.
Yeah. Anything worth having, you have to work for it.
For sure.
Nothing good is just handed to you.
Never.
Because then you don't know the value of anything.
You don't respect any of it.
No.
You're just like,
nothing. Okay, my dad will give me the money for a new one. Whatever. Oh, I broke this. I lost it. Well, he'll pay for it.
A perfect example. You don't have to compare it to a business, attribute. Perfect example. You get some people that come from third world countries, right? Mm-hmm. And they walk into a supermarket in our country, and they see just a line, just designated, just cereal.
Yep.
And every brand you could think of, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
I will sit down and like cry and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is something that's accessible to me. Right? It's that people, I think a lot of us take a lot of this for granted, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where it's like we are really fortunate. Every day I wake up, I'm like, man, I'm fortunate to have done what I've done so far and have the opportunity to even work for myself, right? And allow myself to create opportunity for other people to work with me,
Yup.
right? So it's just amazing that we have that opportunity in this country. I think as bad as some things may seem, with COVID and things, like, we are still such a free country
Yeah.
and a sense of opportunity
Look
to
at
do
how many
things,
people
man.
are out there going like, screw the mask. Yeah, I'm not wearing it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do what I want. Like
yeah,
the younger kids
yeah,
more
yeah,
of.
yeah,
Like they're still out at the bar and all that
yeah.
kind of stuff. Like
It's just like you really see it. I mean, and don't get me wrong, some of these like some of these states on what they've done to restaurants, and
it sucks.
it's really sad, man,
Yeah,
to see that our country can actually tell you not you can't run. That's a scary thing.
it is.
That's really scary to be like you can't run your business.
I was not gonna lie. When this first
You
started
know?
back in March, I was like, "Oh my god, are they not gonna let me like
Yeah.
even go buy material for me to allow me to work?"
I was in the same boat, man. Like I remember when it hit. First of all, I lost like 10 jobs right
Mm-hmm.
off the bat. Like
Because people are like, "I don't want you really in my house."
or
Not because it's you, but because of I'm not trying to get sick.
well, there were so many things. It was like you said, the uncertainty, not knowing what this thing was about.
Yup.
Getting sick. Factors that a lot of people lost their jobs or might lose their jobs. So the financial aspect was like, look, we're gonna have to hold off until we realize if we're stable or not, right? It's just there were so many variables there. People were like, we just gotta hold off. We can't,
Yeah.
and we didn't get those jobs back. And to look at it, I mean, thank God, like I said, we had the marketing and did
Yeah.
what we were doing, dude. Honestly, I think if it was a year before,
Mm-hmm.
we would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
We would have been under. Like a lot of painting companies I've known, just because I talked to my sales reps with suppliers, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, John, your company was the only one that's been in operation for the first 3 months of this, and actually been coming in and doing work.
Yeah.
And it was scary when they first put those. Like we were in one of the worst states for it, in the sense of regulations and things like
Mhm.
that for shutting down. When they put the qualifications out there where you had to be essential, right?
Yeah.
Thank God we still qualified for that. For what, like I said, we still have essential projects that we
Yeah.
got people moving into new homes, and
Mhm.
they had to have their places done, because of mold, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of jobs that were still essential, and I was able to fill the schedule with them.
Mhm.
But I'm like, man, could you imagine like if they were like, doesn't even matter, you guys can't operate, and you were stuck like one of these restaurants or these gym owners or barber shops.
Yeah.
I'm like, a lot of these businesses are still in trouble, man. A lot
They
of these
are.
businesses are just finding out that they can't operate anymore.
And it's a shame. It
And
really is a shame.
it's sad, man. Like you look at it, you're like, it's scary.
It is.
You're like, man, if certain governments, certain states can decide that,
Mhm.
it really opened my eyes up to be like, you really got to understand who you're voting for within, just your own area within your,
Yeah.
your states, but also just
Your county,
your county,
town,
your
everything.
government. Like it's really it's pretty scary in that sense, man. When I seen that, I'm like, hopefully we never see that again,
Yeah.
and hopefully they realize that was a messed up thing, and it should never been done that way.
Mhm.
Because obviously you look at it, it's like, what has it really done? In the
Yeah.
sense of safety and protection. You're not seeing any of that. Like,
Yeah.
Supposedly, like in California, the numbers are so bad and outrageous,
Mhm.
and who knows what is really what at today.
Mhm.
But I think there was way better ways to go about it. Like if big corporations can stay open in all different states, and
Like, what does Home Depot have the cure for COVID?
Yeah.
Like, once I walk in the Home Depot, I'm free. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it. Like,
yeah,
it's,
that was crazy. When I seen that, where I'm like, wait, Walmart people could come in and buy toys and video games and not essential things,
yeah.
but companies that aren't non-essential,
Mhm.
they can't operate and they can't be open.
Yeah.
Where's this coming from? McDonald's could be open, but the restaurant down the street can't be open.
Right.
Like,
Right.
So you really seen a lot of inconsistency,
Yeah. That's the big word right there.
right?
Inconsistent.
It was so inconsistent, man, and it really makes you wonder, like, was there agendas put out, like what? And who knows what the motive is? But like I said, hopefully, man, like I love seeing like what Dave Portnoy is doing.
Yeah.
The president of Barstool, what he's doing with these
Helping small business. Because
small
look at
businesses,
Barstool.
GoFundMes, like.
They were a small business at one point.
Yeah, for sure. They
Yeah.
weren't that multi-million-dollar company now that they
Yeah.
are, and it's amazing company. Like I hope more and more companies like them, these
Mhm.
big companies, start giving back to these small companies because they
Yeah.
all came from something small for the most part. You
Dude,
know,
we blue collar guys like us run this. We keep this country going,
for
dude.
sure. For sure, this is what keep, like you said, we keep a lot of homes safe.
Yup.
A lot of people feeling great about what they own and and what they earn, and not even that. We still like even for our service, we still keep people's places safe.
Yeah.
Like by keeping up the quality within your home.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that sheetrock's staying in place and things. You're protecting that home.
Yeah.
You're protecting the
doubt.
quality of your asset first of all for your financial, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even in the sense of like you said, you have mold and things like you gotta really
Yeah.
make sure
can't
you
be
know what you're
breathing
doing with
shit
that.
in, yeah.
You gotta use the right products for cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Removing that stuff like so. It really is, man. The trades is so essential.
It is.
and you can't get rid of it.
No.
It'll never go anywhere.
I mean, I was lucky when this whole thing's happened. I didn't really miss a beat.
Yeah,
Because
you're essential.
yeah,
They need you.
You need hot water. You can't live in your house without heat. I mean, air conditioning's a luxury.
Yeah,
It's considered a luxury, but heat, I mean,
you need it.
you need it. You could die. You could freeze to death.
And the same thing with the plumbing.
Yeah.
The way their systems are set up.
Yeah.
When we, like you said, we don't live in a third world country.
You
where
can't be
plumbing isn't a
breathing
thing.
in sewer gas. Like,
Exactly.
if things are piped in wrong without, you're trapped, the block, that you can't breathe that stuff in.
Like you said,
it could kill you.
It could be, and it could even be combustion. Depending upon what you have next to
You
it.
have a gas leak somewhere and
Yeah.
you don't know it, and you have a smoker who's smoking in their house. God forbid,
Yep.
you never know.
It could
It
just
could hit
explode
yup.
and be done.
You never know.
It's true, man. It's and like I said, I just hope this motivates a lot of people if they're deciding to start their own business or thinking about going into the trades.
Yeah,
There's a lot of value into this type of work.
there is, but you got to do it the right way. You can't half-ass it.
100%.
Cannot half-ass it.
You couldn't have said it better in the sense that
Yup.
really everything you do, you got to know what you're doing.
You got to take pride in
Yep.
it. You have to.
You have to finish it till it's done.
Yeah,
you
you have to.
You can't leave anything unfinished
No.
because you're not going to get that call back. You might most likely you're going to have an issue later on
yeah.
down the road, and it's going to be
Mhm.
unsafe.
Yeah.
Especially in the line of your work. And it's just like I said, man. It's things that we need to keep exposing.
For
The
sure.
more you build that page on Instagram,
Yeah.
more customers are gonna realize it. All right, this is what goes into it. Right?
Yeah.
This is what goes into actually changing.
Hopefully they say
piping.
this guy Mike seems like a nice guy. I can let him
Yeah.
into my house.
Yeah.
Trustworthy. I can let him in when I'm not here.
Mike, I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna see so much business just from
Yeah.
that because people are gonna be like, I just like Mike. I
Yeah.
like his. I feel like I would really mesh well with him.
Yeah.
I feel like I can really have a great relationship with him.
That's how I feel
right?
it is already too, because a lot of people do know my dad and my uncle, and they're like, "Well, these guys are awesome." I trust having them in my house. Like
Yeah.
I've known them since I was younger, or they're really great guys. Like because they take care of me. I know the job's gonna get done right. I
Yep.
know it's gonna get done on time. There's not gonna be any issues, and if there is any issues, I have no problem getting a hold of them. They'll come right back,
Exactly.
and that's big. That's
it's
big.
huge, man. It's that speaks volume,
Mm-hmm.
right? And especially when it comes to a competition and things like, but even then, I mean, for you, do you look at your competition at all? Do you?
I do.
Yeah.
I look at the competition. I mean, but
How do you analyze it? Like, do you really like indulge yourself where you're like, I gotta make sure I'm better than this, or how do you go about it?
well, yeah, I would be like, I come in like and bid on jobs. I come in after a lot of them companies.
Okay.
Not so much like guys like me, more like the bigger
So
companies.
larger
Yeah,
companies.
the larger companies I come in after, and I'm like, you just see how they have the salesman there,
Mhm.
who's not going to be on the job site when it's being done. He's just there to get your signature and give you a price.
Yeah, he's like give a script almost, right?
Yeah, he gets a
Mhm.
script. He's in there, and he's like, "Oh, your air conditioner, your whole unit needs to be replaced. It's going to be 20 grand. Let me talk to my wife about it. Okay, well, I'll do it for 16.
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
So how you getting down so low? So I just see how those guys are like,
Mhm.
they're just all in it for. I don't want to say they're all in it for money because they
But a
do
lot
have
of it is.
but a lot of it is.
Mhm.
So I like to go in and, talk to the customer like I would talk to any one of my friends.
I think just, and I'll let you keep going from there, but I don't want to lose the train of thought that I had. I think a lot of that, it's like almost like a car salesman,
Yeah.
right? It's that type of sales where they already have this thing marked up so high,
Yeah.
and it's just like, all right, well, how long are you gonna sit here and play negotiations with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that selling is dead today.
Yeah.
And the reason why is the fact that there's too much knowledge out there. There's too much exposure, especially with the internet, where
you got a supercomputer in your pocket.
Yeah, so people could see, like, wait, like, I know, like, what's involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
Pricing should be around somewhat of here.
Yeah, in this ballpark,
generally. In that ballpark. And what if you could come in and say, look, 20 grand, oh, well, look, we could do 14. Well, where does that 6 grand come from?
Yeah.
Like, was that 6 grand all pocketed to you?
They're in your kitchen telling you 20 grand, and by the time they're at the door of their truck, they're like, okay, I'll do it for like 9. And it's like, well, where did that $11,000 come from? Like,
exactly. So I imagine you probably do see. I mean, I don't see it as much as in ours, like with like larger companies. Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I do. Like, don't get me wrong. And I'm not gonna say any like names of companies, but I do see it with like some of the larger. But even then, the quality's not there. They're more subbed out. They got subcontractors, so the quality of the work is always all over the place. It's inconsistent. Things like that. But I think, especially for our industry, and I feel like even yours though, there still needs to be a lot of exposure of explaining why we are pricing what we are pricing, what we're investing into of a company to protect our customers, protect our employees, right? And then also what we're allowing to come as a service. Look, these are the tools and equipment we're investing in. Yeah. This is why we're able to get the job done better, protect things better, right?
And I like to be personal with them. You know what I'm saying? It's not
well, yeah. That's the most important.
And I'm professional. Yeah. But I like to come in and like talk to you, like, not like we're like buddy, like, hey man, you want to be best friends? Yeah. Like, I'm here working, let's just hang out all the time. But like,
you can be a human being versus script saying
you're being a human being.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm John Google and I'm with whatever company it may be. Yeah. And today we have on this checklist here, this is the services we offer. And let me tell you, before you even learn what the hell the person needed. Yeah. Right? And you really got to learn who the person was. And, and they told you, well, my daughter's a nurse and, I'm not here this many days, right? A lot of those salespeople, they're worried about their script so much, right? And the service offering that they're not realizing that they're missing the whole needs of that person right there. Yep. Right? They're going, all right, so wait, you're saying your daughter's a nurse. You need to make sure this room needs to be done at a certain time period. Yeah. And you're only here for so many. Oh, well, let me tell you what we can do. Our schedule's so flexible. I'm not even worrying about my services yet. Let me tell you what our schedule looks like so I can, accommodate that problem you already have right there. Yep. That need you need. And then let's go to the services now, right? All right, this is what, okay, all right, you told me some things that you're going to, well, look, we got payment plans. Look, this is how. So obviously it depends on who's selling the job. And when you believe in your service, you know so much about your service. You're worrying about the real need of that person. You're not just there to try to make a profit for yourself to take.
And I'm not just coming in there to sell them and then, hey, 2 other strangers are going to come in and do the work. I'm coming to diagnose it, sell it, and do it.
And then you're going to make sure it's done.
And I'm going to make sure it's done the right way.
It's a whole different ballpark. And don't get me wrong, if you get your company to a large point where you're not actually coming to do the work, you'll at least still have that full scope because I just talked to my guys. Yeah. I just talked to them. And let them know they have everything in writing there. Yep. And we know that's gonna be done. And I'll most likely come out. If not, my main manager is gonna come out. Yeah. That I talk with every day. But you're still gonna hear from me, or you're gonna hear from one of our guys that you know. If you don't know me, you're at least gonna know this guy just as well. Yep. And then he'll be the one dealing with you. Right, versus all right, your salesman came out, and now here's your
now here's the worker. Yeah, and then you're gonna talk to the billing department, and then I'm gonna send you over to this one, and the extension 400. Talk to this guy.
People don't want to work. People don't want to. Was it there? Like I felt like there was a time where people were like, "Yeah, that efficiency stuff's there," but like with times like this, and I think a lot of the nonsense where people are like, "I don't want this telemarketer. I don't want this computer." The thing is, people so want. As much as like we're disconnected on the social platforms, people still want that personal service.
Personal touch,
yeah, that personal touch, that communication, that relationship. Yep. It's something that we can never get rid of. I don't think.
Like, hey, I called Mike. I spoke to him on the phone. He came out, looked at it, and he came out and did it. Like, hey, Mike did literally everything. I dealt with him to do everything. It wasn't like 5 guys, 5 different people I was talking to, and people like that. I mean, I know I would like that.
Sure. It's just you feel more comfortable. Yeah. Like you feel like you can get across to somebody, you get through to somebody. Versus like you said, you're going through a billing department, then you're going through this.
Then you're doing that he should. Well, this guy told me this. Yeah. Right. Well, I'm telling you this. Well, can't you just do this? Like he already told me that, and it's like,
And a lot of
You're
those,
fighting yourself.
yeah, and a lot of those are put in place to protect the company,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't have to deal with that. Or, oh look, this is what was signed here. You signed it. You
Yep.
didn't even, you know, and you will never get that with companies like
No.
us, because we're not there to screw anybody. We're
No.
not there to make a profit, right? Look, every company's there to make a profit,
Yeah.
so you can actually succeed well, keep innovating within the company,
Yeah.
get better tools, making sure you're staying with the times, run the company efficient. But we're not there to please shareholders,
No.
where you're making out enormous amounts of profit so your company can still stay in place.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to make the board of directors happy with their $1 million raises and advancements, and then also your shareholders that are invested in the company.
Yeah.
We're held to go, no, we're going to make money for the company so that this company could be here next year,
Yeah.
the year after, and we're going to give you the best options possible because we have the money to invest it in it,
Yep.
right? And yeah, we're going to take care of our employees. We're going to have the best employees, so they're going to get paid well, right? Because they're going to be appreciative to come into your home and do the work, versus they're getting just $1 an hour. Obviously it's never going to be that low, but just making minimum wage,
Yeah.
and they're coming in doing a crap job because they know they're not valued with their price.
Yeah, they're like, whatever, the ball, he don't even pay me enough
Yeah,
to do this.
exactly.
Like, why should I care?
Like, there's levels to it, and the reason why you charge a really fair price, but it's not going to be that Joe Schmo price where it's
you're
like,
gonna get what you pay for.
you get what you pay for, and the right companies are going to invest their money right, correctly, and they're going to be there for you countless time and time again.
Yep.
And I think that's the goal of this podcast, is to keep emphasizing that and to show these companies that are capable of doing it.
I think it's great, man. I don't think there's enough young kids out there that want to do what we do.
No.
Nobody, the younger generation, they don't want to get their hands dirty. And I understand, the world's changing, technology and all that. You got kids who go to school for that. But I mean, like we were saying earlier, this stuff's never going to go away.
It's never. And it's only going to be more and more valued because there's less people learning it. So it's going to become a rarity, right? When something's rare, it becomes more valuable.
And think about it, if someone our age, when they get to be like 30 and they have kids who start thinking about careers, and the parents went to school to be doctors, they're not going to tell their kids, you should definitely go to school to be a plumber.
Yeah.
Like, that's where the real money is. Like, they're not going to tell them that.
No.
So the more and more people who go to school to be whatever, they're not going to teach their kids to do what we do.
Exactly. It's yeah, man, I have a couple things I'm working on, looking to try to implement that into at least the public sector of schools, from a standpoint of options, to come do like, workshops during the summer and stuff with us. And I'm working on some things. I really want to expose it because I feel like there's a lot of kids that I went to school with, if they had the exposure like I did to just a trades world and a network, and they could go, work for companies, during the summer and get things done, from a trade standpoint. I think a lot of them would have been like, yeah, I can do this, man.
Yeah.
And I could skip putting myself from anywhere from, $30,000 to $200,000 in debt, and come out and only make $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
Or wait, if that.
Or wait 6 years until you even get a job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many people that go to school and it's just like, man, you wasted so much time. You wasted so much money.
You're like, I graduated 4 years ago. I'm still waiting for that job offer.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It's not what it's all cracked up to be.
But that's not to say we don't need those people in the world,
no,
because
you need it.
You definitely need it in the world. But
you for sure need it.
Yeah, but it's just nowadays more and more people.
It's getting flooded.
Yeah,
and it's getting flooded with a lot of people that if they had other options or just had the knowledge of seeing other options, I think they would go other paths.
That's what it is too. I think not enough people are even exposed to knowing. Oh, hey, I never thought about being an electrician.
I didn't even know what it's like to be an electrician.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not even a thought of having it as an opportunity, but what's it even like to be one?
Yeah.
Like, what's an electrician's day-to-day look like, right? Yeah, I think there needs to be a lot more work of it done, and, especially for, like I said, where we're located, man, we're just stacked with trades. Like, our parents' generation,
that's all they did.
Are descendants from individuals that's what they grew up on.
Dude, you drive around here in the morning.
Like you said, your grandpa.
Yeah.
Right. My grandpa was a Union Bridge painter.
Okay.
My dad was. My dad started 13 years old cleaning off cars on the bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Right. my grandpa was already full-fledged into it, and my dad did it for a while, and eventually just his side jobs became his full-time job, and I would go work with him.
That's awesome, man.
And
Yeah.
eventually I'm like,
From the ground up.
I'm like, all right, cool, side job stuff. I'm like, let's make it a real company now. Let's
Yeah.
do it real. And
Yeah.
now you see 8 years in the making.
That's
you know?
awesome,
So
man.
it's like, but again, it's our job now to be like, look, we're taking this stuff to the next level.
Yup.
And-
Because we got the knowledge to do that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
does your dad know how to run
No, he doesn't
social media?
Dude, we would never like. It was just funny too. And even dude, he didn't know how to run just a legitimate business because
Yeah.
he never had the opportunity to. I'm not even gonna say he had the opportunity to, because he sits back and he's like, man, I should have done that stuff. Because
Mhm.
honestly, schooling didn't help me start my company.
Yeah.
What helped me was I did it. I
Did it.
researched. I'm like, all right, how do you do this?
Get your hands dirty
and
and
I
start doing
and I
stuff.
start looking. I mean, obviously, technology helped a little bit better because I was able to go online and look
Mhm.
this stuff up. But I mean, a lot of things is like I worked with guys at Foot Homes. I'm like, yo, how did you guys get your registration for the state? Oh, this is what we did. All right,
Mhm.
cool. I did that. Called this number. Oh, you need this. You need this. You need that. I'm like, okay, so I need a $500,000 liability. Hey, do you know who I can? A lot of it was I called one person. They
Mhm.
told me what I need. All right, do you know where I can go for that? Oh yeah, here's numbers that you can. These are insurance providers that you can go through.
Yup.
These are different carriers. Oh, that's cool. What's a carrier? And I learned that,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh, that's neat. And then you learn that, right? And then you keep going,
Learning on the job.
and then you're
dude.
like, boom, now I got a business.
Yup.
A few thousand later, I got a business. I got a registration.
Mhm.
All right, cool. Now where'd I go? All right, well, now you got to learn how to make invoices. Make
Mhm.
sure you get your account, or you have to know how to do accounting yourself, right? It's just levels and levels and levels, and the only way you learn it is by indulging yourself and trying it, right?
Mhm.
Reaching out. Who knows what
Yup.
is what?
You can't be afraid to fail.
You
either.
can't, man. You
'Cause
fail
it's gonna
every
happen.
day. Every day.
Yeah,
you
every
fail.
day you do.
Every day you're like, son of a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
what the? How did I get myself here?
Yup.
And you're like, is it even worth me to keep going? You're like, man, like, I'm on my last dollar. Like,
Yeah.
what do I do? Like,
Mhm.
do I just say screw it and just, like, there's
And
a lot of
pack
times
up.
you run into that,
Yeah.
and
There is.
but it's all worth it, man.
It is.
It's all worth it
It's
because it's all learning experience.
it's
You
very
come out better.
rewarding.
Yep.
Very rewarding.
And it all turns. It's like it's
Oh,
weird,
yeah.
man. It's like I don't know if I'm imagining you went through it so far,
Oh yeah.
but it's amazing. Like them small little moments, man.
Yup.
They click over. You're like, holy shit, there
Yup.
it is. Like it's
Ah.
like you like beating that level, right?
Yup.
It's like you beat a level, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, now we're on this level.
Now you know how to do it. Okay.
Now we're here. You know,
Yup.
like that. All that stuff back there, that was easy.
Yup.
I can run through 8 levels quick,
Exactly.
and then you're on this new level. You're like, oh man, this looks. I can do this probably. I might be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's like a game almost.
It
know?
is, dude. It is.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. But yeah, Mike, I don't know. Pretty cool that
Yeah, man.
we're doing this stuff. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on here.
Thanks for having me, man.
Was there anything you want to ask me that we didn't cover? I mean, we're at like an hour 42. It's amazing how
Yeah.
fast the time goes, isn't it, dude?
I didn't
Your
even
beers,
realize
you
that.
probably don't even have any beer in there, do you?
Nah, I don't need
Damn,
another
man.
one.
I gotta grab you one after this.
Dude, listen, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
again, thanks for having me on. This was
Oh,
a great experience. You know,
I'm glad,
it's
man.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you got on.
They
here
get the
with me.
word out there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to, like I said, somebody like you needs to be, put out onto a platform like
Yeah.
this, and hopefully, I mean, it's a small platform right now, but
Hey,
the more guests I keep bringing on, I
exactly.
think the more we can keep growing each other's bases,
Yeah.
and hopefully our customers or look at
Yeah.
our pages, our websites, and it goes hand in hand. I
Yeah,
mean,
for
that's
sure.
the goal here is to keep growing everyone's
Yeah.
knowledge and experience and exposure to this.
Keep the work going, man.
That's it, man.
Just keep going.
One thing I do want you to do, let everybody know where they can contact you at, right? So if you have, like you said, Facebook, phone
Mhm.
number, email, wherever they can contact you to get your services, I want you to let them know. You can just, tell them,
So
look in the camera.
you could find us on Facebook at Mike Panetta Plumbing, Heating, and Air. You could find me on Google, Mike Panetta Plumbing, Heating, and Air, and you could email us at mpanetta210@gmail.com. You can email me anytime you want. You can message me on Facebook. You can really get a hold of me at any time. I'll get back to you at any time as long as I'm not sleeping.
What's the main line?
The main line is 609, or no, I'm sorry, 856-627-7488. is the
Beautiful.
main line.
All right, awesome, man. Well, what I want to do too within our videos and everything, I'll make sure I put all that stuff up for you. So
Okay.
if anyone's watching on
Perfect.
YouTube, they can, and I'll have it on all the description and all
Okay.
that. So,
Perfect.
but Mike, I think we touched on a lot here today. Next time you're on,
Good
we'll make
stuff.
sure we touch on more of it. And
Good stuff.
see where you're at. And,
Definitely.
like I said, man, it's been a pleasure to have you, dude.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
Mike. Appreciate it, buddy.